It all started when we moved to the new apartment. It wasn't our own, a rented one, but it still gave both of us the same joy as if we had bought our own brand new apartment. It was just me and my sister, Bella. Well, Bella isn't her real name, but I have to change her name because I want to protect my sister's identity. I don't want documentary makers and bloggers lining up to my house. My sister isn't a showpiece. We moved to the new apartment with all our things. Our excitement couldn't be curtailed. It was the first time we were living far from our parents. We had finally gotten the independence we craved so dearly. It was a thrilling experience. There were endless possibilities, and we couldn't stop dreaming. One day, as I returned from work, I found my sister in her room. It struck me as strange, as her shift got over later than mine, and she didn't tell me anything about her shift ending early. Bella sat there in her room, as if frozen in time. She stared at the wall, without blinking for even a minute. It was all very unsettling, and my heart raced. No, it leapt as I approached her. I called out her name. She didn't look up. She kept staring. My hands shook, but I tried to steady myself. I shook her shoulder lightly. It didn't break her from her trance. It was like she had turned into a statue. I felt dread settling inside me. I screamed at her in desperation, told her to stop staring, but it was as if she was in a whirlwind. She couldn't hear me at all. She suddenly turned to face me. Her eyes were bloodshot. She was paler than usual. She told me, her voice soft, to get out, to leave. I didn't understand, but I took hesitant steps backwards and left her alone for a while. That night, I couldn't sleep at all. I didn't have the courage to approach Bella either. I know some would call me a coward, but I was literally paralyzed by fear. Even though at that time I didn't want to admit it, I did what I thought would be best in that situation. The best thing was to seek advice. I searched online, and several articles came up. Some said my sister might be traumatized. Others said she was suffering from a mental disorder, while some talked about demonic possession. Demonic possession. My heart stopped for a moment as I read through that word, and then the article. I didn't want to believe it, strike the possibility out entirely, but something inside me felt my sister, my Bella, was heading towards that route. Next morning, Bella did not go to work. I called her workplace and came to know that she had quit a day earlier. I was shocked. As I clutched the phone in my hand, I heard Bella screaming from her room. I ran to her, terrified. There was nothing there. She was still sitting, but this time she was staring at the window instead of the wall. She kept on screaming, a shrill piercing sound escaping her throat. I tried to calm her, but she wouldn't stop screaming. But then, she suddenly stopped, turned her gaze towards me and stared at me for a while, looked away, and started slapping herself, each slap harder than before. I tried to stop her, but she seemed stronger. I started crying, begged her to stop. She stopped but glared at me. Her glare sent shivers down my spine. I contacted my mom. She advised to come home immediately, to leave the house and not go back there again. I packed all of our things and left. It was extremely hard to make Bella leave. She refused to get up. I had to drag her out. I felt bad, but I was determined to leave. At home, Bella stayed like that, still as a statue, despite Mom and Dad begging her to say something. I consulted a psychiatrist who started treatment, but it didn't seem to work. There was no improvement in her condition at all. I was desperate. I contacted a priest too, but the moment he looked at Bella, his expression changed. He screamed and ran away terrified. It has been 2 months since Bella started behaving like that. We have tried everything we could. I made sure to not go back to the apartment, but Bella's condition refuses to improve. She hardly sleeps, doesn't talk at all, eats very little, keeps staring, glares at us if we say something to her. I even checked online about the apartment. Strangely, there was nothing spooky about it, just a normal apartment. There was no paranormal or even a criminal case reported there. I don't understand what got into Bella. As I write this, I discovered long scratches on Bella's arm today. They were too long and sharp to have been made by Bella. She refused to have them treated. I am really worried for my sister. I don't know how worse her condition would get. I really don't want to lose my sister.